G'day everyone, and welcome to Griffinix Tabletop Miniatures. In this video, we'll be checking out the... Is it Hernkyn? Or... It's about to say we're checking out the Hernkyn Pioneers. How many times have I got this wrong? We'll be checking out my Hernkyn Pioneers. Now, I do apologise for some of the glare that you're going to probably be seeing on screen, especially given that these miniatures have been sprayed with Citadel's White Scar, I believe it is. The old rattle can. Now, you don't have to use Citadel, of course. There are cheaper options out there. There just wasn't any available for me at the time, so I had to go with the Citadel option. There are things that you can get. For instance, if you live in Australia, you can get things from Bunnings, which, as you should know, is a local hardware store. They got some, Rust-Oleum. That seems to be a reasonably priced spray paint. If you get the matte or satin, in some cases, might be more useful for some people. Whites and blacks and things of that nature, I think you'll find it is quite a usable and cheap option. The gloss ones, not so much, but as long as you hold the miniature, perhaps a little bit further away than you would with the Citadel ones, because I don't know for sure, but I think that from experience, I've noticed it be more likely to get a bit melty because of the accelerant in it, or also it sometimes gets a bit gloggy and cluggy and just sort of might, for instance, like the tiny little bit of detail there, I don't know if you can see it all that well, or maybe now you can, but the sort of small detail there on the leather of the backrest on this vehicle here, it appears to be very thin and very, very light, very delicate detail. Now, you don't want that to just be filled in partially or something, or completely, really. You still want to be able to see it, and maybe even highlight it a bit when you go to do full details of the miniature. So yeah, just something to think about. But anyway, I'll do another video of them when they're fully painted, but I thought I'd just give you a quick look at what I've done, what progress I've gotten to. Now, here you might notice I've got this little axe. Now, there are options for little axes that come in the kit, and you can place them, well, it suggests to place them here. But I thought I'd go with a Fire Slayers one, just to keep with the theme of making these a little bit more dwarfy, or dwarden-y, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And the heads, I don't know if you can tell, but I've gone with the ones with the little goggles and the bandana-like face mask sort of thing going on both of this one. Yeah. Now this one, you can see he's pulled out the shotgun. And this one's an Hernkyn. As you can see, he's got a little dome Hernkyn head. Yeah, I found these quite easy to put together. They didn't take too long at all. In fact, it was very simple. And there was only one bit that I would say was at all tricky. And I'll explain why and what I think you can do to mitigate that. But Yeah. And there's the third one. As you can see, like with the first one, the rider, suppose, like, yeah, he's got the pistol. Or she, he or she, they have the pistol. Yeah. Now, I really like this. I think it's a really cool design. Clearly, it's meant to be like a trike, and in this case, obviously, a hover trike with these anti-grav sort of generators or emitters. 1, 2, and 3. Now, when you put this together, you may find, if you go ahead and do it like I've done and put the whole miniature together and glue it to the base and everything before you paint it, and even afterwards, you may want to put something, and it doesn't have to be a one this big, but you may want to put something just sitting here when you glue it to that little rock bit here, for instance. When you glue that on, like the vehicle into that, and then that to the base, you may just want something else to hold the weight. You might want to do something like this for each of them. So you can put that there, for instance, and on this side you've also got a little spot. You can probably just put that in there, and that would probably be enough. And if you did something like that, like a little brush, or maybe even another spare part from your bits box that's big enough just to sit between and take the weight a bit, you could use that, or maybe even use your some of your other tools. But just keep in mind that it wants to tilt and sort of lean forward a whole heap. And if you don't want that, and you want to still be able to paint underneath or do your basing, then you can do that. Or you can do the miniature in sub-assemblies and have the basing done already. But still, you do then have to glue it onto the base. And then you might still want something to hold it up just a little above, especially if you've already done the fine work underneath. You'll probably want to be even more careful with what you've got under there, because you've got some crackle paste or something on the base, some of that nice texture crackle paste that Games Workshop has, or some of the other companies out there, even craft ones that you can make use of for miniatures. You don't want to bash it too much, because then it breaks off the surface and you lose it. Now, underneath there, you may not see it as much, admittedly, but right at the front, under here, I dare say, in the right light, you will see it, and it will be noticeable. So that's another reason why I'm not too afraid to glue it to the base, to be quite honest with you, because ultimately, I can get it to dry, sit in place, and I can just carefully go around and put what I need on there. And if I have any trouble getting it on there and some of it gets up onto the front of the miniature, then I just use that as part of the dust and dirt detail, and I just sort of dry brush over it. Whether that may not rather appeal to everybody, but that's what I do, and I think that makes it a more natural look, given that you don't plan for that little bit of stuff to be there, but it goes on, and then whoops. No, just, if it's a big bit, wipe it off. But if it's just a little bit there, just, no, you know what, I might just leave that there. And then weather it up. And makes it a bit random. And it's just, just a lazy technique maybe, but at the same time, I think it helps you to avoid overthinking. And, anything that helps you save time and that with your miniatures, I think sometimes it can be very useful, especially when you paint and build as many as I do. You like to save a little bit of time on it, Yeah. What do you think of the Hernkyn Pioneers? Do you think they're a cool model, a cool design for the Leagues of Votann? I personally do. I like them. I kind of wish there was a perhaps a bigger variant for the gunner, but it's perfectly fine as is. That's just being a little extra nitpicky, I guess. But yeah, be interested to know what you lot have done with yours, if you have them, that is, and if you don't, maybe you're planning on getting them and you have some ideas of what you might like to do with them. I'd also be very interested to hear about that. And yeah, I myself had some ideas of further kit bashing these, but I thought I needed to save some of the parts to kit bash other models. So I didn't want to have to go out and buy too much Fire Slayer bits or Caradron Overlord bits. I wanted to make use of what I've got. And given the Mohawk routine, I figured when I buy another lot of these, I may make a number of them with the Mohawk, just so some have it, some don't. And I don't know if any of you have noticed, but if you look closely here, we've got a Fire Slayer's axe replacing the axe that comes in the kit. So I thought that was a nice little nod to the kit bashing that I've been doing. And obviously it's not much of an alteration at all. It's just replacing of one part. But helps with my theme. Yeah. I really like these, and I can't wait to get a few more. And I am tempted to actually wait till I get more to paint them all together so that they can look a little bit more uniform, perhaps. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Love to hear about your thoughts in the chat. In the comments down below, and we can have a chat about it. That'd be fantastic. And if you could, subscribe if you haven't already, leave me a like, and hit that notification bell so that you can find out when the next content is dropped, and keep up to date with any of the further content that I create here on this channel. I've been Matt the Hat, and I thank you very much for your time, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hernkyn Pioneers. Hernkyn Pioneers. You know, I still think I'm getting it wrong half the time. I always want to say Hernkyn Pioneers.